Good morning and a very warm welcome to round 3 of the 2022 Network FIM Junior GP World Championship. Today we're live from the classic Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for yet another bumper day of action across the Junior GP, Moto2 European Championship and Hawkers European Talent Cup classes. Nestled around 30 minutes away from the city of Barcelona, this circuit is a beautiful 4.7 kilometre layout that boasts a sensational array of fast corners, tight turns, hard braking zones and a 1 kilometre front straight and plenty of overtaking opportunities. We saw the MotoGP World Championship riders tackle this terrific track last weekend, of course, and today it's the turn of Grand Prix Racing's future stars. My name is Elliot York, and today I'm joined by my good friend and colleague Jack Gorse to talk you through all the action we have in store. And it begins with race 1 of 2 from the Junior GP class. Jack, it should be a cracking day of racing.
Yeah, it really should be. Thank you very much then for the warm welcome, Elliot. It's fantastic to be in this lovely commentary box for your fine self. As you can see from the pictures on the screen then, fantastic weather here in sunny Barcelona, the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. And as Elliot says, we've got some cracking action coming up for you. 5 races, the first of which being Junior GP. Then we'll follow it up with 2 Moto2 and, of course, the second Junior GP as well as ETC. But before we dive into today, here's what happened last time out.
You're too kind, mate. You're too kind. Yeah, this is what happened last time out in Valencia a few weeks ago. Basking sunshine, just as we did today. It's Jose Antonio Rueda on pole there. And spoiler alert, he's on pole again this weekend. And it was a great race. Alonso hit the front, and it was a great battle, as always we see in the Junior GP class. The number 8's there, David Alonso battling away at the front. Crashing out there was Farioli and Manza. They just got to the front of that race and it all came down to the last corner. Angel Picares came from the back of the grid, just pipped to the line by David Alonso, the Colombian. That was his first win in the Junior GP. 2 races over in Valencia, we've got 2 races there as well. Rueda again leading from the off, and this time Angel Picares, after a penalty in race 1, started on the front row of the grid and was at the front throughout the 2 Team Estrella Galicia riders there. That was David Alonso at the final corner of the last lap, crashing out, but he managed to remount and still cross the line in 7th, so a good salvage job there from the Colombian. But race 2 belonged to Jose Antonio Rueda. That was his first win in the class as well. So far in 2022, we've had 3 first-time winners in 3 races. Will we have a 4th? Beautiful pictures then here in Barcelona. That's Montserrat, just outside the city in the background. 30 degrees air temperature already. It's not even 11 o'clock yet. We stood out on the podium, didn't we, briefly, where you dropped a little bit of your tuna sandwich. So hopefully the riders don't slip on that when they come up to the podium. But yeah, really, really warm here in Barcelona. It was warm yesterday, but it's going to be even hotter today. I think highs of 33, our weather app said. So yeah, it's going to be a tough day for the riders out there.
Yeah, thanks for exposing me for having a tuna sandwich for breakfast, mate. Cheers for that one. But yeah, as you say then, it is pretty toasty already. The fans of the grandstand, they are fortunately covered by the shade for now, but when we get to this afternoon, they won't be, and it is really, really going to be very, very hot indeed. But as we say, we're about 10 or 12 minutes or so away from the start of the first race of the day, Junior GP coming up. And if you want to see who the guys are going to be that are going to be winning world championships in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, these are the guys you need to watch, and particularly this man. His 4th pole position of the year, then Jose Rueda on the Talent Team Estrella Galicia 00 bike, doing an incredible job this year, and this is exactly how he took pole position.
Ha sido difícil, pero hemos sabido aprovechar bien la primera tanda, que hacía más fresquito y se podía rodar más rápido. El asfalto no estaba tan caliente, así que teníamos también más grip. Y muy contento de haberlo hecho en la primera. Y en la segunda hemos salido a hacer ritmo de carrera, yendo solos, y la verdad que nos ha ido bastante bien y estamos muy contentos, la verdad. Yo, la verdad, me lo esperaba más apretado el crono, pero bueno, al final ha salido la vuelta más o menos perfecta y pues ha salido el tiempo. Bueno, la carrera será complicada igual que todas, pero intentaré hacerlo, romper lo máximo posible el grupo y a ver lo que sale de la carrera. Todo puede pasar. Yo creo que los neumáticos en la primera carrera irán bien, pues no hace tanta calor. La segunda sí que habrá que gestionarlo un poco más.
Jose Antonio Rueda there will start from pole position for the 3rd time in 3 races. He said there it's going to be a difficult race, but so far this weekend he's made it look pretty easy. He's on pole by nearly 0.6 of a second. Now that's a huge gap in any form of racing, especially motorcycle racing. You normally see in Moto3 maybe the top 15 or so split by about half a second, 0.6 seconds. Rueda took pole yesterday by, yeah, just over half a second. And in warm-up, he was even further clear. He was 0.7 of a second faster than anyone else. So it's going to be an interesting race to see if Rueda can pull away, because he's shown the pace he can, but it's not necessarily that easy in Moto3.
No, definitely not. I mean, he's been a pretty speedy boy in terms of one-lap pace, but as you see there from his results, second, fourth and a first so far in the 3 races, he's not had it all entirely his own way. Of course, got that win last time out, but there is still people that have beaten him this year. Here's your man second on pole, and actually one of the few that's been close to Rueda this weekend, as he holds up a little banner there. Get well soon to Lambias, number 94. Unfortunately, he had a little crash, and I believe it was QP1 yesterday. Tipped off at turn 2 or 3, I believe, Elliot.
Yeah, turn 2 in.
And it seems he's unfit for today. So we send our well wishes to Lambias, obviously having a fantastic year in his first year over here in the Junior GP series.
Yeah, Lambias in 9th place in the overall standings. Had a DNF in the second Valencia race where he was running in the front group. So yeah, unfortunate for the Uruguayan. We hope to see him back next time out in Jerez at the start of July. Good to see fans here. Best to have sun cream on, because like we say, it's going to be very, very warm. They had a nice little pit walk, didn't they? And there was plenty of people around, so that's great to see the fans coming out. So here is Angel Picares, and a little bit of a rookie sensation, to be honest. Yep. He had that DNF, the unfortunate collision where he couldn't really avoid Harrison Voigt. He was in the lead group, wasn't he, over there in Estoril? But Valencia, no words for his race one. Obviously had the the qualifying penalty, so he had to start from the back of the grid. And literally by 5 laps in, he was with the lead group and led for most of the race. And it was only at the final corner where David Alonso was able to pip him. And in race 2, he was in the lead group again, but just got nudged out to finish 5th. So watch out for Angel Picares, ladies and gentlemen. A rookie starting from the front row. He really is one to watch.
Here's a man that's also one to watch, David Salvador. Of course, if you're watching MotoGP last weekend, you know that this man was actually in the Moto3 World Championship as well, deputising for, I believe, the injured Ayumu Sasaki, and did a fantastic job. He was up there in the race, but unfortunately didn't go his way in the end. I think they said on commentary, our good friend and colleague Lewis Sudbury mentioned that he was going about a second quicker in the race than he qualified at. So certainly very good job last weekend, and so far this weekend doing a good job too.
That is one thing to note, I think. We've mentioned Rueda's pace over 1 lap. He did also mention that in the afternoon session, where the conditions are obviously a lot warmer, that he'd found a really good race rhythm on his own. But riders do tend to find a little bit extra when it comes to Sunday, because that's when it really matters. So yeah, watch out for the guys behind. We're not saying Rueda's going to run away with this. Absolutely not what we're saying at all. So look out for the guys behind, because they're going to find something today. Here's Daniel Munoz. He's found something this weekend. He's without a podium in the class so far. 13th overall last year, with 4th, his best result. So he's come close to a podium, not quite there just yet, and this is his best qualifying of the year as well. So middle of the front row for Daniel Munoz. Looks like he could be on for his best result of the year so far.
Yeah, and here's a man that has had his best qualifying of the year so far by quite some margin. This young man from Malaysia then, Daniel Shahril, doing an incredible job on the Asian Talent Team bike. There you can see his results so far, 12th, 13th and 14th. But his qualifyings have been 20th and 21st in the first 2 races so far. 20th and 19th, I do apologise. So he always goes forward. So it's going to be an interesting test to see if Shahril can actually hang with the pace of this lead group now and go forward even more. Because if he does, I mean, fantastic job. And he could be looking at a podium if he can.
Yeah, we should mention Shahril. He might be a familiar name to the guys who are big MotoGP fans. He had that crash in ATC in 2018 with a horrific injury on the front straight. So he's done very, very well to rebound from that, and he's making his way back up the MotoGP ladder. So yeah, Daniel Shahril, great to see him on the second row. Now, here's David Alonso. We mentioned, didn't we, race 1 winner over in Valencia, and then that 7th place doesn't look like a good result on paper, but after crashing at the final corner, 7th place is a fantastic result. Look out for David Alonso. He's had a wild card this year in the Moto3 World Championship over in Portimao, but he's the reigning Red Bull Rookies Cup champion. He was the 2020 European Talent Cup champion from Colombia. He is definitely one to watch.
Here's Tachkun Bouazri, then the Thai rider, also on the Asian Talent Team machine. He actually had a penalty yesterday, which means his QP2 lap time was cancelled, I do believe, and also he received a 4-grid place penalty. Qualified originally 5th, dropped down to 8th because there was also some other cancelled laps in there. So 8th is particularly not too bad, and I think it means he has a 100% record for starting on the first 3 rows this year. So certainly qualifying going well, and of course we know he won the first race of the year. So on for another good ride here. Yeah,
Bryce's done really well this year, taking a real step up in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Well, it was called the Junior World Championship, it's now called the Junior GP. Still trying to get my head around that little change that we've had this year, the rebrand. Now, British fans, here is Eddie O'Shea talking about taking a step forward in 2022. Eddie O'Shea's best result in 2021 in his rookie season in the Junior GP class was 16th right here in Barcelona, and now he's qualified 9th here, his best qualifying in the class. And he's, yeah, like we say, really taken a step forward. Those results there, 9th and 12th so far this year, 2-point scoring rides. He's also 11th in the Red Bull Rookies Cup. He finished 4th in Mugello last time out as well. So yeah, Eddie O'Shea really taking a step forward. Great to see for the British Talent Team rider.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Scott Ogden from a few years back, kind of floating around that top 10, just with the pace to try and cling on to the league group, but maybe not with the outright pace to stay with them. So as we go through this season, you can expect to see him get into that top 10 and hopefully break to the top 5 in a few races as well. Here's a man that this year is doing an incredible job in the Red Bull Rookies. He's actually 2nd in the championship so far, but the start of this championship in the Junior GP hasn't maybe been what we expect from him, but this weekend, this is a bit more like it. 10th on the grid, his best qualifying by quite some way. So hopefully we get to see him back up to the sharp end where we know he can be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Colin Vire can do from 10th on the grid. Not far off at all, 4th row, but as we know in the Moto3 class, anything can happen if you start from even outside the top 10 these days. We see it in the World Championship, don't we? Riders come from as low back as, well, David Munoz, perfect example, in his 2nd race, started, what, 20th and came through to finish 2nd. That's a picture of Joel Esteban, who we'll be seeing later on this afternoon in the Hawkers European Talent Cup, their only race of the day. Now, the riders then, they're getting ready for race 1 here in Barcelona. Warm-up lap get underway shortly, and then will be time for racing. So here's the starting grid then. It's Rueda from Asman and Picares, the front row. Then it's David Salvador, Daniel Munoz and Daniel Charil. Then it's David Alonso, Tachkorn Brazri and Eddie O'Shea on the 3rd row of the grid.
Yeah, looking at the 2nd page of our starting grid, then Colin Vire in 10th with Farioli and Almanza joining him on that 4th row of the grid. Void, Linetta and Zuratufa. Watch out for young rookie Zuratufa going better this weekend. Aditama, Cruces and Carraro completing that row 6 of the grid. Watch out for Cruces, been doing incredibly well this year, the rookie too. Rudon, 69, he's in 19th with Ralston next to him and Morosi. Then you look back and it's Detweiler, Volpe and Gorb on row 8, and then Collins, Ton and Hamada, the first of our Japanese riders, on 9th row of the grid. Uchimi, Carpe and Rosenthaler on row 10. And then completing the field, we have the Gordon brothers, number 84 and 74.
Here we go then, warm-up lap time here in Barcelona. The first of 5 races today. Do stick around if you can, because it's going to be another fantastic day of racing. We're going to see plenty of action down into turn 1, as we always do across the classes, even in Moto3, MotoGP. So
that's Kitaro.
So an issue there on the grid then for the number 91. I think he's probably stalled it as he's tried to get away from the line. So I think if he can get it going, it will be a pit lane start for the number 91 there. So unfortunate stuff. So warm-up lap being undertaken then. Plenty of overtaken opportunities around the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. This is one of them. Turn 1 is definitely one of them. We'll see plenty of action, as we said there. But turn 4 is also another passing place here. Turn 5 is as well, Jack. And then what else have we got around the rest of the circuit?
Well, I think 7, 8 and 9. 8 could be a possible one if you've got a Rajalav set of peanuts down there, but then you come up through 9. Maybe not through there, because you want to set that up for turn 10, looking down into turn 10, of course, one of the famous places where we've seen so many manoeuvres over the years, and a few little crashes. Think about the 2019 MotoGP, Jorge Lorenzo going skittling there. But then also, if you're brave enough, the final corner, we've seen a few people try it. I think Suzuki did it on the final lap of the final corner in Moto3 just a week ago to got the podium, I do believe, the 2nd one in a row. So it can be done, but you've got to be a little bit brave.
Absolutely, yeah. I think fans will remember Valentino Rossi's famous move on Jorge Lorenzo there, didn't we? And we've seen a few times as well that it can be done. Here's the new turn 10 then. A little bit of a wider entry. pretty safe, really, isn't it? It's a lot safer than it was before.
Yeah.
Still provides plenty of action, plenty of overtaking opportunity down into turn 10. There's the current championship standings. Rueda leading the way on 58 points from David Salvador in second with his triple third places. He's 10 points behind, then David Alonso in third place on 47 points, just 1 point further back. So all to play for. We've got plenty of rounds left in the Moto 3 class.
Yeah, we really do. It's certainly going to be a long championship, and as you say, David Salvador, those 3 third places, just consistency keeping him in this title hunt. So they're arriving at the grid then, warming up those final few degrees into the tyres and the brakes as well. There you see Rueda diving on the brakes, so number 99. Luca Lunetta, the 58, alongside him. He's a little bit further back, and this, well, this start is probably going to be quite a fast and furious one. Quite a long run down to turn 1, so slipstreaming will come into effect by the time they get down to the end, but it's all going to be about this launch off the line.
It's one of the longest runs, I think, especially on the Junior GP calendar, but also on the World Championship calendar. It's a really long run down into turn 1. It's interesting to see if Rueda can get the start, if he can clear off. He's shown pace, as we've mentioned. So turn your attention to the lights. They'll go reds. And we're underway here in Barcelona for round 3 of the season. It's a great start from Asman from the middle of the front row. He's got the jump on Rueda already, but we're going to see plenty of action down here as the riders pile down into turn 1. Someone's on the grass there. Luckily, they've not gone down. Who's going to take the whole shot? Rueda's looking up the inside, but he's thinking better of it. It's going to be Asman who takes the whole shot. That's Salvador diving up the inside of Picares to take 3rd place. So Picares loses 1 place off the line, down into 4th place. Rueda then looking up the inside at turn 3. Salvador says, thank you very much. I'll have a piece of that too. So Rueda leads on lap 1.
Yeah, cracking start then from Rueda. Recovered after Asman beat him off the line, but it does seem as though he's made it all the way through. That is David Alonso looking to be inside of his teammate Farioli. One person that didn't get the best of start, but he has managed to salvage it in 4th. There's Picares. Looked as though he got a little bit of a wheelie and a bobble off the line, but it does seem to be all under control now. No jump start has popped up on our timing screen, so we're good to go from here. It's going to be an all-out fight.
Already you can see Rueda just edging clear of the chasing pack. This is a crucial stage of the race already. We're only halfway into the race and Rueda already made that pass stick at turn 3. Didn't get the jump that he would have wanted. It wasn't a bad jump. He was in second, but Asman got the better of him down into turn 1. Turn 3, stuck it up the inside, and now he's got his head down. He said yesterday that he's got great race pace. He was testing that out in the afternoon, so let's see what they can do. Down into turn 10 then for the first time. Picares looking at the inside of David Salvador, and I think that's Daniel Munoz looking at the inside of Farioli. Yes, it is. So 2 for the price of 1 there for those riders. Salvador just getting a little bit argy-bargy with David Alonso. So lap 1 nearly completed. Rueda at the minute has a couple of tenths lead. We'll see it across the line, but Asman and the chasing pack doing well to keep with him so far.
I think that was actually Almanza diving up the inside down into turn 10. Yes, it was. The number 22 on the purple bike then. He's through into, I believe, 6th when they come across the line. We'll check that, but up from 12th. So cracking start from Almanza. We know that he races well. Sometimes his qualifying just lets him down, but he's there from lap 1. We go across the line then. Rueda, Asman, Picares, all the Estrella Galicia talent team guys at the front, as it looks as though David Alonso is going to get in the mix and try dive into 3rd place, but Salvador does hold him off and tries to pinch up the inside of Picares, but no, Picares closes the door.
Slipstream City down the front straight. We're going to see that all day long. It's fascinating to see. Not sure what happened there in the background, but the top 5, sorry, are just starting to break clear. Not sure why that is. Farioli leading the way. The chasing pack in 6th place on the number 17, the bright yellow helmet. And you're right, it was David Almanza. I assumed it was Daniel Munoz who started from the middle of the front row. Daniel Munoz, I can't see him on
11th there.
He's down to 11th. Yeah, so not the best start for Daniel Munoz. Rueda stretching clear. I think Picares, his teammate, can see that, and they're just trying to get through from Asman, who won here last year, remember. He does like this Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. He's not had a podium since, so Asman will be determined to get on the podium once again, but Rueda is already streaking clear.
Yeah, Asman, of course, came from 5th on the last lap to win it. I think he got 4 of them into turn 10 on the final lap, so certainly knows how to get the moves done around this place. Now, looking at this lead group, as we do say, Rueda just starting to take advantage of these guys scrapping a little bit. It looks as though Farioli's got his skates on. He's pulled away a little bit from Eddie O'Shea, Almanza, and I think that's Harrison Voigt who's had a good start, diving at the inside, maybe up into 7th now. So Harrison Voigt, the Australian, he's also got his skates on. Good job from those two. Let's see if they can close the gap onto the back of David Alonso over the next couple of laps.
This chasing quartet needs to box clever here because Rueda's into his rhythm now. This is exactly what Rueda would have wanted. Didn't get the whole shot, but made a move at turn 3, and now he's got his head down and he's trying to clear off into the distance. So these 4 guys just need to be careful. If they scrap with each other too much, then Rueda is just going to edge clearer and clearer, and the race win is going to disappear. Now Salvador is tucked up behind Angel Picares. Picares in turn is tucked up behind Asman. They're both going to pull out the slipstream. Picares going outside, David Salvador going inside. Asman a little bit of a sandwich there, and it's Picares who sweeps around the outside. Is he going to get the stop? Yes, he is. So class move there from Picares. It was Rueda sets the fastest lap of the race, and his lead over the line was 0.6 seconds. So just over half a second after a couple of laps.
Yeah, astonishing lap there from Rueda. If he'd stuck that 49.120 in, that would have put him 3rd on the grid yesterday. So he really is firing on all cylinders. Just one of those in the Motor 3 class. But yes, firing on all cylinders, as we do say. Certainly the number 99 stretching that gap and definitely asking the questions of those behind him. It does look as though Farioli and Voigt have broken away from the group behind them. So those two, see if they can work together and use the slipstream to their advantage to just pick up those crucial couple of tenths, which is going to drag them into contention, as it looks as though actually David Alonso, number 80, the 2021 Red Bull Rookie Champ, is just being left behind from this group.
Yeah, he is just struggling to keep tabs on this trio here in shot, aren't they? David Salvador, obviously a title contender. He's had 3 podiums on the bounce, so he's in the hunt as well. Angel Picares and Asman have work to do in the title chase and work to do here in the race as well. Yeah, Farioli and Voigt have broken clear of the chasing pack. Can they latch onto the back of this fight for the podium? If they work together, don't hold each other up too much, then it's certainly possible. Now Rueda isn't stretching too much clear on this lap. I think Picares is doing a good job here, and they're not messing each other around, so this is important with 13 laps to go as we cross the line. And we should mention, yesterday we noticed that Rueda's lap time in qualifying would have put him 2nd on the Moto3 World Championship grid behind Dennis Foggia last week. Now, we can't really compare the two because it's different circumstances, of course, but it does go to show that Rueda is setting an unbelievable pace this weekend.
Yeah, he certainly is doing a fantastic job, and we know that his pace doesn't drop off when it gets into the heat either. Of course, all these riders are slightly slower when the temperatures increase later in the afternoon. It gets a little bit greasy, this place, so the lap times aren't quite as fast, but Rueda is still that man that's pushing the pace even when the conditions get nice and hot. So David Salvador then, he's definitely got his hands full here. Asman looks across at his teammate to make sure he's going to give him enough room. Doesn't want any shenanigans between the two boys in the blue. But it does look as though, for now, Asman is going to slip into that 3rd place and just hold off Picares.
Yeah, David Alonso has lost touch now, hasn't he? But if they keep messing around like they are doing, overtaking each other, then Alonso's still got a chance at the podium. But yeah, Rueda now really is clearing into the distance. It's up over a second now, and once you get up over a second, we've seen it plenty of times, don't we? That's when you can really start breaking clear, and even in Sector 2, he's taken half a second out of these 3 riders. Picares just looks behind him. I think they're sort of coming to terms that Rueda isn't going to be catchable today. Picares would have known his pace, obviously being his teammate. So this looks like it's going to be a battle for the podium, but we won't speak too soon. Anything can happen in motorcycle racing, but let's find out what will happen. Let's see Sector 3 as they come through. Yeah, quicker again, 3 tenths. So Rueda really is stretching his legs.
Yeah, just a little bit of a warning and a word to watch out for the number 7 Farioli and 29 and Voigt. They look like they're taking about 3 tenths out of the group ahead of them already on this lap. Certainly David Alonso anyway. The guys ahead of them in terms of Picares, Salvador and Asman, they've taken about 2 tenths, but those two are on the way. You can see them just hanging on there in the background. They're not being dropped just yet. They're closing the gap up to them. So then, we're going to cross the line for 12 laps to go in this race. And look at that, fastest lap from Rueda, 48.9.
Wow.
In comparison, no one else is in the 49s even. He was 1.3 seconds quicker than Asman in 2nd place that last lap round. The 2nd quickest man on track was Farioli at 50 flat, with Voigt at 50.1. And those guys ahead were in the 50.4 and 50.5 region. So certainly Farioli and Voigt, they are on the march.
Unbelievable stuff. No one even within a second on that lap. Is truly incredible from Rueda. We've mentioned that this year he's really come on strong, leading the Red Bull Rookies Cup Championship, leading this championship. It won't be long before we see him on the World Championship stage. I can assure you of that, the number 99 there. We're going to focus in on the group for 2nd though, and yeah, David Alonso is being caught by his teammate Filippo Farioli. Farioli won't want to make the same mistake he did in Valencia Race 1, where he hit the front. He won't be hitting the front anytime soon because of this Asman Rueda, but get in the podium hunt and then crash soon after. But yeah, Farioli, he set a time, didn't he, yesterday in QP2 that put him actually on the 3rd place on the grid. We're going to see a replay of the start. So Rueda starting from pole. Didn't get a bad start by any means, but Asman really got his Honda working well off the line, and Rueda got tucked up in the slipstream, but didn't quite make the move down into turn 1, as we see a nice little slow of all the riders behind the bubble, then hard on the anchors down into turn 1. Thankfully, no dramas this time around. We do see it sometimes, don't we? Saw it in the MotoGP World Championship last time around. But everyone's safely through. Rueda flicking it left there for turn 2, just eyeing up a move, and turn 3 was where he made it stick, and that looks like it might be the race-winning overtake for this race. He's going to set another quick time here, is Rueda. Is it going to be the fastest lap of the race? Yes, it is, a 48.8. Is anyone else in the 49s? They're down to a 50 flat, yeah, 49.6 for Filippo Farioli. So Farioli really has the pace here. He's just there, the yellow helmet behind his teammate David Alonso. So Farioli really does eye a podium here in Barcelona.
Of course, Farioli coming off a wave of confidence from last time out. Unfortunately, in the first race in Valencia, as soon as he got to the lead, he crashed out. But then in the second race, he did pick up a second place finish. So plenty of confidence for that young man, and it seems to be translating well here. One quick shout out is to the man, Daniel Sharil, in 10th place at the moment. He's just dropped down to 10th. He was running an 8th at the head of a big pack of riders. I think there's about 12 of them together or something like that at the moment. But the man started in 6th, and Daniel Sharil, his best up until now has been 15th. So if he can hold on to a top 10, this would be an incredible result for that young man.
Farioli up the inside of his teammate David Alonso, but runs it slightly wide there. I think Alonso's going to have the place back. Yes, he is, but Farioli has the better pace than his teammate David Alonso at the minute. His lap time last time around was 8/10 quicker. So Farioli, it's only a matter of time before he picks off the number 80 and then sets his sights on this trio, who are lapping well, but they're nowhere near lapping well enough than the number 99. He's not far off being the fullback straight ahead, and we've not done many laps at all. There's still 11 to go. Lap 5 completed last time around, so yeah, this is just unbelievable stuff from Rueda. We did fear this, didn't we, looking at the warm-up times and qualifying. I didn't think it would quite come to fruition, because we see in the Moto3 class, don't we, that you can get ruffled up a little bit, but once he hit the front, there was no looking back. So yeah, great stuff from Rueda.
Yeah, definitely didn't think the gap would be this big. Look at that, by the time they're coming into turn 13, he's already into 14, so he really has got his skates on and just, well, cleared off, essentially. We'll check what the gap is this time as he comes across the line. Oh, look at that. He slowed the pace down by 1/10.
Terrible.
48.9, and every single other rider, into the 50s this time. So even Farioli, as though it does look like he's eventually picked off Alonso. Maybe not, looks as though the slipstream just held him out there, but I think he's just got him into turn 1. But yeah, as you say, incredible stuff from Rueda. We thought that maybe Asman could go with him, but it doesn't seem that that has been the case.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell in qualifying, isn't it? Because sometimes a rider can get a nice little tow from another rider and just get a nice lap in. But 5/10 here in qualifying was a bit of an eye-opener for us, weren't it? And then, yeah, 7/10 in warm-up this morning, just unbelievable stuff. So clearly, Rueda fast in the colder, cooler conditions in the morning, and faster still in the afternoon conditions. As Asman had a little bit of a look at Salvador. This is the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place in this race. If you just tuned in, Rueda has cleared off up the road. Farioli now has got the better of Alonso. He got the better of him on the last lap. Alonso got back out in the slipstream, and Farioli got the job done at turn 1. So it'll be interesting now to see if Farioli, the number 7 rider there, with his teammate behind him, can catch these riders. What's the gap back to these guys? He's 1.4 seconds down, so if he can show the pace like he did a little bit earlier in the race, I think he'll catch these guys without any issues, because they're going to continue to scrap, aren't they, these three? Yeah, certainly, and what it might just do is spur on David Alonso and just kind of reignite that fire that was in him at the start of the race, and then we'll see what happened. There you go, look, there's your gap from Rueda to Asman, 5 seconds, and I can tell you that has grown already to 6.1 on this lap. So unreal. He really is going for it. Like, seriously, this is very, very impressive. Now, back to this little battle. Of course, it's going to be an interesting thing as this rolls on through the race, because 2 Hondas against the Husqvarna, they're going to have different strengths and weaknesses, and we're seeing that generally the Hondas are pretty quick on the straight. You can just about get past the Honda in the slipstream, but even there, look at that, it takes him the whole straight there for David Salvador to be able to get past Picares, and then on the brakes he can't even get the job done. So certainly that Honda looks like it's just got a few more ponies over the Husqvarna. Should also mention that Picares is a rookie. This is only his 3rd round on a Moto3 Honda machine, so we're bigging up Rueda's performance, as we should, but also teammate Picares. This is sensational stuff from the rookie. If he can get another podium here, then this is a job well done. You're right, Jack. Alonso and Voigt are sticking with Farioli despite his extra speed. Now, who have we got down here? Ooh. That's Philip Ton down with an AGR rider. Can't quite tell who it is, but looks like a big crash at the final corner. That's a quick corner, that is. Good to see the riders back up on their feet. Hopefully we'll get a replay to see what happened. But yeah, not good for those 2 riders down at the final corner, turn 14. Now then, we've got a long lap penalty, unfortunately, for Eddie O'Shea, the number 31, for shortcuts at turns 1, 2 and 3. So unfortunately for Eddie O'Shea, who is down where? In 19th place, so he's just been shuffled down a little bit. There's Volpe then involved there with Philip Ton. As I say, good to see the riders walking okay, because the final corner may not look too quick on your screens, but trust us, that is a quick corner. You tip it in there with not much brake, carry the corner speed through the corner and onto the front straight. So yeah, good to see those guys walking away.
Yeah, definitely very good to see. But then back to this little battle at the front for 2nd place, 7.1 seconds behind Rueda at the front now. He really is streaking away into the distance. He's going to have to fall straight over them by the end of the race if he keeps this going. But I tell you what, Elliot, this is going to be hard to predict who's going to be able to come out on top in 2nd place here. We thought maybe Farioli would start closing the gap in, but it doesn't seem as though he's been able to. As soon as he's got to the head of that pack and he's not had a target to chase that's right close to him, it seems as though his pace has just dropped off a little bit. Last time around, 50.7 compared to this group you see on your screen, doing 50.2s and 50.3s. So actually losing time quite a lot now to these 3 of Asman, Salvador and Picares.
Yeah, lost a bit of time there, didn't he? Around half a second. It was 1.4. It's now up to 1.8 seconds, nearly 2 seconds down. It's 1.6 after the first split. So maybe there was just a bit of ruffling with his teammate and Harrison Voigt back there. So if Filippo Farioli can get his head down, it really will be interesting to see if he can catch the podium fight. There's nothing between these guys, is there? Asman now leading the way from Salvador and Picares. These guys have got very similar pace. So this is going to be the podium fight. And if the others can join in, they're not too far behind these 3 there. Farioli, Alonso and Harrison Voigt, then we have a cracking battle on our hands. This isn't like a typical Moto3 race, is it? We're used to seeing a number of riders battling at the front, but we've got Rueda out front, we've got these 3 battling away for the podium places, and then we've got another 3 behind battling for 5th, 6th and 7th so far, and then we've got a 5-second gap behind those 3. You can see there just appearing from the picture, which is being led by Colin Vire at the moment, David Almanza in 9th, and Adrian Cruzes, another rookie, inside the top 10.
Yeah, a group of 8, that whole group is, stretching back from Colin Vire to, I think, about 17th or 18th, something like that. So certainly quite a big gaggle there. There we go then. Here's the man that has absolutely dominated this race, lights the flag. Well, flag in about 8 laps time. There you can see, plus 8 laps. They're not giving him the gap at all. No distractions. Just keep doing your pace, keep hitting your marks. Look at that. That is quite incredible on the long shot. All the way back down to turn 14. He's on the brakes now into turn 1, and they've just come across the line. 8.3 seconds it is. Total domination from Rueda as he looks to go back-to-back for victories in 2022.
Should point out that the Moto3 class is designed to have close racing. The bikes obviously are a little bit different. Husqvarna, for example, here with 2 Hondas, but they're pretty much evenly matched. Like you say, Jack, earlier, they're different motorcycles. They've got their own strengths and weaknesses, but they are pretty much the same in terms of performance. So for Rueda to be doing this, to be 8.3 seconds clear with 7 laps to go, is truly astonishing. You can understand it sometimes in World Superbike or in MotoGP, where the bikes are a lot different. We see Fabio Quartararo obviously last weekend dominating the MotoGP race. But to see it in the lower classes, in Moto3 and European Talent Cup, for example, you don't really see this a lot. And there's good reason why, because all these riders are very quick. So to have someone streak away like they are doing now is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, it really is. I mean, these riders may be 14, 15, 16, but they've been riding for the best part of 10 years or more, and they seriously are very, very impressive little riders. As I say, like, these are the best in the world for this age group and for this category, and for Rueda to be doing this is incredible. As you say about the different bikes, obviously the gas Husqvarna and KTM, slightly little different philosophy as a steel trellis frame compared to the aluminium twin spar that the Hondas have. But in terms of what they can do and their potential on the track, I mean, there's
barely any difference between how fast they can go compared to one another. It just depends on their strengths and weaknesses and how they work around a lap. But, ooh, you can see there Farioli out onto the green. He is obviously pushing because he's broken his teammate now and Harrison Voigt, doing this on his own, which is incredibly impressive. And the best thing for Farioli, you would say, that he's broken that slipstream, so there's no chance of these two biting back at him and interrupting his rhythm. Let's check what he's done that last time round. He has done a 50.2. Now that is good. He's dropped his pace back down, and the group ahead of him with 50.8 for Picares, 51 flat for Salvador, and 50.9 for Asman. So, just as though we were thinking that Farioli was on his way out, it looks like he's on his way back in.
He absolutely is, yeah. It's down to a second now for Farioli, so he's broken the gap behind him, like you say, Jack, and now he's really got his head down, the number 7 with the bright yellow helmet. He was only 4/10, I say only. 4/10 is still quite a lot, but for Rueda to be within 4/10 of Rueda, this race is going some. So yeah, the number 7 probably will be joining this trio very, very shortly indeed, with 5.5 laps to go. He's not got too much time to do it, but with the gap at a second, and this is going to get busy now with 5.5 laps to go. The podium is in their sight. Only so far, if they all keep their wheels on the straight and narrow, only 2 of these riders can stand on the podium. And Farioli, yeah, he is going to be joining them somewhat soon, because the gap is now down to 0.9 seconds on this lap.
Yeah, certainly pushing on. Extremely exciting young rider is Farioli. Last time out, obviously finished second, and it looks as though he's got his eyes set on another second place here, because I don't think anyone's going to be able to do anything about Rueda in the last 6 laps unless Rueda makes a mistake. So this man, let's see what he does coming around this time. It looks as though once again he's picked up just a couple of tenths over these guys. So it is going to be interesting, because time is running out. 5 laps to go as we cross the line this time. And for Farioli, well, the clock is ticking. He needs to keep this pace up if he wants to catch them.
It does. I think, like I say, what's going to help him is these 3 here are going to start battling away. They're going to lose time doing that. So I think Farioli being on his own, no distractions from behind, is going to be able to catch them. What's the gap over line? It was a second. So he just lost a tenth in the final split. But you can see there he's creeping up on them lap by lap. With 5 laps to go, this is the time of the race now where if you've got a little bit of extra pace in hand, you might want to start using it. Salvador just pushes Angel Picares out of the way there. Like we say, David Salvador has World Championship experience on this track last weekend, of course, and he was running in the front group, wasn't he, before he unfortunately crashed out of the race. Showed a real good showing of himself on the World Championship scene as David Salvador this year, when he's been called upon. Of course, we've had John McPhee injured for a while. He's been stepping in there. Yuma Sasaki, John McPhee's teammate in the Sterogana Husqvarna squad. So obviously David Salvador riding a Husqvarna. So yeah, Farioli then latched onto the back of these 3 now. Yep. That gap is pretty much nothing, less than half a second now. Yep, 0.3 of a second. So Farioli has bridged the gap. He's done very well as Farioli, and he is now with them. So it's a 4-rider fight for the podium finishes here in Barcelona with 4.5 laps to go.
Yeah, red alert then. The gas man is there, and he's going to make his presence known very, very soon indeed. We know Farioli is one for a good overtake or 2, so it won't take him long to have a little pop at Sarafdan Asman just in front of him on 63. So if this pace can be kept up, he should burn his way through, but it's one thing catching a group of riders, and it is an entirely different thing to overtake them. So let's see what he can do as we come around now then to complete, well, what will be 4 laps to go as we cross the lap time this round. Oh, look at that. Rider number 18, track limits warning. That is the young rookie there, Angel Picares, on the Estrella Galicia Talent Team machine. He has a track limits warning, so if he does that 2 more times onto the green, he will receive a long lap penalty, and that is not going to be ideal, because that will put him at least 2.5, 3 seconds behind this battle for the podiums. It looks as though David Salvador got some beautiful slipstream there, and it looks as though actually Farioli, is he going to go all the way through to second? Yes, he is. There we go. The gas man through from 5th to 2nd.
Terrific then from Farioli. 5th to 2nd in 1 lap, in 1 straight even. That slipstream city for you. Got tucked up behind a 3-rider slipstream, pulled out of the slipstream, and yeah, got the job done down into turn 1. So that's the hard bit done. Well, the first hard bit. The second hard bit is trying to keep these riders behind. With 4 laps to go, this is where the battle really starts to heat up. Angel Picares will be behind a podium. Asman wants that first podium since Barcelona right here last year, where he won the race. He's not had a podium since, of course. We talked about David Salvador having World Championship experience here last weekend. So did Sarafdan Asman with the Vision Track Racing team. So these guys are well equipped for this circuit. All of the riders are here, to be fair, because it's used a lot in this championship for testing as well, of course. course, and when they were younger they'd have been riding here as well in the lower classes. So here we go then, the 4-rider fight for the podium. This is going to get interesting.
Yeah, Salvador here looks as though he means business. Looks like he's got the bit between his teeth again. Obviously, Farioli's come sailing past the ball, and they've probably all thought, what? How did he get here so fast? Because they saw +1 on their pit board just the lap before, but it looks as though it's waking them up. And yeah, they're sticking with this pace that Farioli's been riding for the last 5 or 6 laps.
If you're just tuning in, Rueda is the race leader by 11.2 seconds. So this isn't the fight for first. Like clockwork there, coming onto our screens. Rueda then, 3 laps to go. Just got to bring it home now as the number 99. He's back down into the 150, so he's just taking it nice and easy. I say nice and easy, that's still plenty quick enough for this race. He's still lapping quicker than anyone else, even though his lap time's dropped by a good 1.2, 1.3 seconds. So Rueda, absolutely stunning. 3 laps to go, but this is where the battle really lies. Picares then up the inside of Asman, but Asman late on the brakes into turn 1. Farioli then, he did the hard bit like we say, but he's not managed to keep them behind like we mentioned. So Farioli with all the work to do then again as Asman takes 2nd place.
Yeah, lots of tense faces in the gas garage there that you saw for the Aspar Junior team. Looks as though Farioli just made a slight mistake there through turn 3 at the right-hander. Just lost a tight bit of time, but he'll be back on them in no time, I am sure. But Asman then does look as though he's just profited from that slipstream very, very nicely indeed, with 2.5 laps to go, and see if he can kick on and start to stretch these guys. It looks as though actually he's just set his PB first sector as well, so he definitely is kicking on. It looks as though he's going to try and pull the pin and see if he can break the slipstream in these last 2.5 laps.
One thing to mention with Farioli is he'd have probably burnt a lot of his tyre, or more than the 3 riders ahead of him, trying to catch up, obviously pushing hard to catch these riders up, so he might come into some tyre wear issues more than these 3 on our screen there. We'll wait and find out, but once you're there, once you're in the fight, you can sort of latch on and dig deep, can't you? So yeah, if anyone's got a bit more pace here, now's the time to show it, but with the slipstream down the front straight, it's going to be very hard for either of these 4 riders to break clear in the podium fight. Asman leading the way so far from Picares, David Salvador chasing his 4th podium in a row, and Filippo Farioli chasing his 2nd. That's Ethan Guevara, good to see the Gas Moto3 rider, winner here of course last weekend in the Moto3 World Championship, looking on. We've seen plenty of riders here this weekend, haven't we, supporting their younger counterparts. This is where a lot of their journeys began. It really is the place to be if you want to make it into the Moto3 World Championship or World Championship in general. So 2 laps to go then. This is the fight for 2nd place. Picares leading from Asman, David Salvador and Farioli. Well, I say that, it's all changed because Salvador looks like he's going to go into 2nd, is he? No, he's not. Picares good on the brakes into turn 1. Yeah,
very good on the brakes there from young Picares. Only a little pocket rocket, nice and light, makes it easy to get onto the brakes nice and hard, and he does hold off David Salvador for now. I've got to say, Salvador's been incredibly good at staying in the first 2 positions of this little pack of 4. Of course, there's only 4 of them, which isn't so hard to do with stay at the front, but he looks as though the man that has been the most consistent in terms of threatening to pick up this 2nd place at the end of the race. But we do know that Picares is an incredible young talent and certainly going to be challenging every single one of these guys in this group.
Certainly is. So this is turn 5. Going to see some action there probably on the last lap. It'll be interesting to see what these tactics are, because the riders might not want to lead this group onto the final lap with the slipstream coming into effect, because as we've seen, if you lead onto the front straight, you could easily come out from 2nd down into 5th place. Farioli just tagging onto the back there. He's not been able to fight on the last lap. Maybe he's just keeping his powder dry at the minute for a last lap attack. Down into turn 10 then for the penultimate time. David Salvador pulling out the slipstream, but thinks better of it this time around. Asman this man, Jose Antonio Rueda, the final 12 seconds, so a nice comfortable cruise home for the race leader, but it's going to be anything but comfortable for these 4 riders as we start the last lap of the race.
Yeah, here we go then, Slipstream City into the last lap. Anil Picares is at the front of that group, but there's no way that he is going to be at the front of that group by the time they get down to turn 1. Or is he? It looks as though he might just hold them off. Farioli on the gas then. He's found the extra gear down into turn 1, picks up into 2nd place, and Asman is relegated to the back of the group, and that is not what he wants. He is without a podium yet so far this year. Winner last time here. He is going to be desperate to get onto that podium by the end of this lap. Let's see what he can do.
great stuff from Farioli. We said he was keeping his powder dry, not for long. That gets close between Asman and Salvador. Aggressive from the number 63, and it's going to be aggressive back from Salvador, but not quite this time around. Picares just losing out here around the outside, but if he keeps around the outside, he's got the inside line for turn 5. Here we go, turn 5. Farioli keeping it clean, hard on the brakes, keeps Asman behind him. Yep, Salvador, just a little bit of mistake there. Picares is through into 4th place. So Farioli leading from Asman, Picares and Salvador.
Here we go down into turn 8. Oh, he had a cheeky little look there into turn 8, but no, Asman stays behind Farioli now, up through turn 8, now into turn 9. This is certainly going to be one where they need to get the drive out of here. Turn 10 is the biggest overtaking opportunity on this Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya layout. Someone may have just gone on the green there. That could prove pivotal at the end of the race. Down into turn 10 then. Asman does make the move, just like he did last year, to go for the win, but this time it's for second. Farioli looks to turn it tight. Is he going to get back up the inside? No, he doesn't. Turn 12, just 3 corners to go.
Was that last chance saloon for the podium fight? Farioli could have touched the green there, so that might be a track limits penalty. But take a bow, Jose Antonio Rueda, race 1 winner here in Barcelona, and what a stunner it is. He crosses the line after a comfortable victory. Picares has created something at the final corner, but it's not going to be enough for the podium. It's going to be Asman leading from Farioli over the line. Asman takes 2nd place from Filippo Farioli. David Salvador loses out to Picares on the final lap. He finishes 5th with Picares 4th, but I fear for Filippo Farioli that a track limits penalty might be coming his way for exceeding track limits on the exit of turn 9. We'll wait and see, but what's a race from Jose Antonio Rueda.
Yeah, incredible race from Jose Antonio Rueda. A mellow masterclass then. Almost 12 seconds in the air. 11.3 seconds it was, the gap to 2nd place. In Moto 3, that is what you call absolute total domination. Incredible man. An incredible rider then. Back-to-back wins for Jose Antonio Rueda. The floodgates have opened, and it seems as though he is the favourite for the championship in the early stages.
Yeah, that was absolutely unreal. Faultless from Rueda. Didn't get the jump that he would have wanted at the start from pole position, but by turn 3 he was leading the race again, and from there he just did not look back, the number 99. That's his 2nd win in a row, his 3rd podium of the year. He actually crossed the line first in the first race in Estoril, but a track limits penalty on the final lap demoted him to 2nd place. Yeah, what can we say about Rueda? Just absolutely on fire this year, and congratulations to Asman. We mentioned, didn't we, that he won here last year, and he's not had a podium since in the class, but now he's back on the podium with a 2nd place, and Farioli there takes 3rd place, but will it be 3rd place?
Yeah, certainly going to be interesting to see what happens. He definitely did go on track limits, so by the rule book that does mean he should be dropping a place, but we'll see as the stewards review it and we go to Parc Fermé.
Ethan Guevara there looking on. I think he might be just a little bit wary of Farioli's last lap touching of the green. If you're not familiar with the rules, if you go onto the green bits on the outside of the racetrack, on the last lap it's an automatic 1-place penalty. So with Farioli crossing the line in 3rd place, if he does get a penalty, that will promote Angel Picares to the podium, Rueda's teammate, as Rueda does a nice little skid into pit lane. Picture perfect from the number 99. Best lap of 1:48.8. Only Asman in the closing stages and a couple of others, Farioli and Picares, were able to get within half a second of Rueda. That's just how much pace he's got this weekend, and as we've mentioned, to do it on these bikes in this class, seriously impressive stuff, because we see it sometimes, don't we, in the bigger classes, on superbikes and in MotoGP, but yeah, to do it in this class, absolutely superb, and don't the team know it? Really on fire is Rueda this year. A couple of wins already in the Red Bull Rookies MotoGP Cup, and now 2 wins here in the Junior GP class. Lots of friends and family here. Good to see the crowd turning out. As we mentioned, it was a busy pit walk earlier on. There's Picares just there, and Asman celebrating with his team. First podium in a year for Asman. Long awaited. He likes his place, doesn't he? Does Sorry Food in Asman. Just trying to hear what the teams are saying to their team riders, but can't quite make it out if you are interested in that sort of stuff, the unseens on JuniorGP's YouTube page, yeah, I think he's just being told that he exceeded track limits on the last lap. I think, anyway, Filippo Farioli, because we don't normally see this in Parc Fermé. Or has he? He's still smiling, so if he just lost out on the podium, I think he'd look a little bit unhappier than he was. But we'll wait and find out. If it pops up on our timing screens, then of course we will let you know, and we'll be hearing soon from Jose Antonio Rueda, who has extended his lead in the championship with second place in the title race before this race being David Salvador 10 points behind him. Salvador finished in 5th. So that's going to be a nice healthy lead for Rueda heading into the race 2. And, well, if he doesn't make any mistakes in race 2, then unfortunately I think we're going to have a race for second again. Just see there Diogo Moreira, of course in the Moto3 World Championship this year, doing really well as a rookie. He's unfortunately injured his wrist, so we didn't see him racing in the last couple of races, Diogo Moreira, but we're going to see Jose Antonio Rueda there for sure in the near future. That was his race winning move then. Lap 1, turn 3, job done, and it was see you later. And this was him rounding the final corner, no one else in sight. Crossing the line to take a commanding victory. In the end, it was 11.3 seconds, and that was even with him cruising over the line. So, celebrates with his team. Unbelievable stuff, and yeah, like we say, we're going to hear from him soon with Jack Gorse. We're not far from the podium, so not far for Jack to walk and chat to the riders. As we say, fans here a week on from the Grand Prix here. Fantastic facility just outside of Barcelona. And as we've mentioned, it really is warm. We can expect it from this time of year. But we're going to hear now from your race winner, your dominant race winner. He is down in Parc Fermé with Jack Gorst.
So Jose Rueda, incredible race, total domination, 11-second win and back-to-back wins. You must be very happy.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Incredible race because I saw in the qualifying I have ritmo, and I don't know, incredible race, and that's all. I thank you for my team, for my family, and that's all. Thank you.
And then just in Spanish as well for us, please.
Sí, ha sido una carrera muy difícil, porque, bueno, difícil de gestionar porque lo tenías atrás, no lo veías. Pero bueno, hemos visto que los cronos teníamos ritmo para escaparnos, así lo hemos hecho en la carrera y la verdad que muy contento con el trabajo y quiero agradecer al equipo que ha trabajado muy duro durante todo el fin de semana y gracias a ellos ha sido posible este podio y esta victoria. Gracias.
Congratulations. time for the podium ceremonies at Junior GP. For the first race from the Junior GP, the Moto3 class, an incredible race then from Jose Antonio Rueda. He said it there, just incredible rhythm, incredible pace, and just managed to streak clear, 11.3 seconds clear in the end. The only man to set a lap time in the 48th, and he did quite a few of them as well. So bringing out onto the podium then, it will be Filippo Farioli. Looks as though he hangs on to that third place. Congratulations, that young man. Second podium in a row from here to Valencia. Superb stuff.
Yeah, absolutely superb stuff from Farioli, from where he was as well. On the grid, he was 11th, so to come through from there and to bridge the gap to the chasing pack, fantastic stuff from Farioli. I was convinced that he exceeded track limits at turn 9, but clearly not. Our eyes deceived us. So Farioli, job done. Asman, like we say, first podium in a year. This time last year in Barcelona, he was the race winner in race 1. He's P2 here. But no one could catch Jose Antonio Rueda. An absolutely stunning ride from the young Spaniard, the 16-year-old.
Yeah, quite incredible, really. I mean, you've got to give it up to him for back-to-back wins. Obviously, the floodgates have now opened, and, well, if he can do that at every circuit we turn up to this year, he really is going to be extremely difficult to beat. Of course, we roll on to Jerez next time, but before we do that, we do have one more race for these guys in the afternoon, and I can tell you it is already pretty roasty down there. It is extremely warm, and it's only meant to get hotter. I think ambient air temperature is something like 32 degrees at the moment. Here's Xavi Artigas, the Moto3 World Championship rider, of course, for the Bristol team, not Bristol team, what is it?
Yeah, CF Moto.
CF Moto
Bristol,
team, that's
still,
it.
yeah.
It is Bristol, yes. Lovely colours, actually, that team now. The nice blue of, kind of turquoise blue of CF Moto, of course, doing quite a good job this year as well.
Yeah, Xavi Artigas, of course, in this championship last year, did really well. Asman, unbelievably happy, as you can imagine, back on the podium. A job well done, especially after dropping down to 5th on the last lap and then to come to 2nd
He's
at
good
turn
at
10.
laps here, isn't he?
He is, yeah, very good.
5th to 1st last year, 5th to 2nd this year.
Ethan Guevara then presenting the race winners trophy. He was 2020 Moto3 Junior World Champion, 2019 ETC champion as well. And as we know from last year and this year in the Moto3 World Championship, a force to be reckoned with is Ethan Guevara. And, well, Jose Antonio Rueda is certainly a force to be reckoned with as well.
Yeah, running 2nd in this year's Moto3 World Championship. So from 2 years ago, winning here to 2nd now. And here's the national anthem. So then, Spanish national anthem rings out for the 2nd time in succession in the FIM JuniorGP Championship here. Congratulations then to all of our podium finishers. Fantastic race from all of them. Of course, Jose Antonio Rueda, the standout there as Asman runs off the podium. And the other two take to the fizzy water as he's taken out one of the Prosecco dock blow-ups there. Practicing a few little rugby tackles, was he, or something?
Yeah. Yeah, fizzy water, unfortunately, for these guys. Obviously not old enough yet. I think Asman's old enough, but of course, not spraying the champagne. As we hear,
we will rock.
Yeah. I think, as always, here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, they've got quite the array of music choice, haven't they? So here's the results then from race 1 of 2 here in Barcelona. Rueda, a dominant race to win from Asman and Farioli on the podium. Picares and Salvador just losing out in the podium, fighting for 5th. Harrison Voigt beat, well, I don't know where David Alonso is actually. Maybe he lost out in the closing stages. So Voigt there, Via 7th, Cruces 8th, David Almanza 9th. We'll be interested to see where David Alonso finished. He finished down in 11th. Didn't see that.
Noticed that.
So Carraro finished in 10th, Alonso down 11th, Daniel Munoz 12th from the middle of the 2nd row, Barazri 13th, Daniel Charil 14th, and Xabi Zurituza taking the final points.
Yeah, good job there from Salvador too for rookie, of course, and then Cruces as well. The points roll continues for them. Marcus Ruder, he finishes 18th from Kante Amada, Soma Gorb. Torren Collins, Noah Detwal, Alvaro Carpe, he's had a difficult start to life in the Merc Free class. And Jakob Rosenthaler, as well as Luca Lanetta down there in 25th. And then rounding us out is Jacob Rolstone, number 26. What is it? What number is Jacob Rolstone? I've completely forgotten off the top of my head. Number 12, that was it. I knew what it was. But he rounds us out then for the first race of the day.
Championship standings then, Rueda, 83 points now, 24 clear of David Salvador. David Alonso, 3rd place in the championship, still after finishing 11th there. Farioli moves up to 4th, level on points with Picares. Asman up into 6th place with Bouazri dropping down 7th. Cruces and Daniel Munoz 8th and 9th with Zurituza, the rookie, in 10th place. Facundo Lambias, unfortunately not with us today after a crash in qualifying yesterday. He's 11th with Lanetta, Almanza, Marcos Ruder, Colin Vire, Eddie O'Shea, and Daniel Sharil there completing the 2nd page.
Harrison Voigt is in 18th after a good ride here today. Carraro, who I believe he had a long lap penalty or something today, was down there as well. But that number 99 then, Jose Antonio Rueda, is your race 1 winner from here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Incredible ride. Can he repeat the feat as we go into the afternoon for race 2 in just a couple of hours' time? Well, I would not bet against it. He's been incredible here, and as we start Sunday, the incredible form continues.